Okay, we're at the top of the hour here, so we shall get started. Welcome to our What's New and What's Next in Meetoo for March 2017. This is our regular update webinar to talk to you about what's happening in Meetoo and to get your feedback on where you think we should be going with it. As always, with me today is Mr. Dave Palmer.
Good morning, Dermot. Good morning, everybody.
And Dave's going to be taking you through some of the technical elements of this release. Okay, as always, we're going to be using Meetoo for the session, so really appreciate it if you could get connected to Meetoo. It's the only way that we can communicate with you in terms of getting your suggestions and feedback on what's happening with the platform. And we really appreciate that, and we want you to really drive where Meetoo goes in the future. So please download the app or access the web app at web.meetoo.io. And the meeting ID is 138810859. Okay, let's have a brief look at the format for the webinar today. And as we did in our last Meetoo update broadcast, we're going to look at what's new in this release, which is live now. And then we're going to look at what we're going to be including in the coming weeks and months in Meetoo. And then for a few minutes, we're going to get your thoughts on how Meetoo should be developing, which again is why we're really keen for you to connect up to Meetoo for the session. Part of the end of this session will be to get your ideas on shaping the future of Meetoo. We've got this session in identified mode at the moment, but please feel free to put in an alias if you don't want to be identified by your real name. It's your suggestions and ideas that are really important to us, so please do that. And then, as always, at the end, we'll leave a few minutes to answer any questions that you might have. Before we jump into the newest changes to Meetoo, I just want to get an idea of how you use Meetoo's discussion or messaging features. So if you could respond to this poll for me. Do you use the Meetoo Projector display during your sessions? So just to be clear, that is the messaging display feature that you launch from within the control dashboard. So have you never used it for testing but not in a real session? Do you use it during sessions on occasion? Do you use it regularly? Or do you use the projector display every time you use Meetoo? Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if we just take those results there, Dave, we can have a look at people's usage. Okay, good. Really interesting. So not used every time, and quite a few that have never used it. So Dave's going to be showing part of that projector display today, so hopefully that might drive some of you to use it. But that's really useful, so thank you very much. Okay, so what's new in our March release? So we've got some changes to the way Meetoo is licensed. We've got an upgrade to the recent new feature of messaging favorites, and that's to include a dynamic display that Dave will show us. There's a few tweaks to the UI, the usual bug fixes, and then some news on our new YouTube channel, which is quite exciting. So I'll take the first one, as it is exciting to announce that we've given our licensing and pricing model a bit of an overhaul. So I'll go through the exact changes in a minute, but it's probably sensible to give you the two main reasons why we've decided to actually shake this up. We're always wanting to make Meetoo as compelling a product as possible. And we also want to keep Meetoo as simple as possible, and that includes the pricing and licensing model. So, those two sometimes conflict. Making a compelling product means, adding new features and potentially new complexities, but we really want to balance that out to make sure it's an easy product to understand and use. Okay, so although our education plans have remained unchanged at the moment, we have decided to do away with the participation limit tiers for annual customers in the workplace sector, and also really simplify the pay-as-you-go packages that some of you may be familiar with. So we now only have one standard annual plan, which allows up to 1,500 participants per session, and that plan is actually priced at the same as the old 100 tier was previously, which means you get more for less. But importantly, it means that all our annual subscribers have access to 1,500 participants per session. So it's not just for new customers. Everybody will benefit from that. So it's also a real example of how confident we are in the scalability of Meetoo. We want to make sure that if you've got 120 people, you don't have to worry about scaling up for that. We're just going to give you access to a large number. And then in terms of pay-as-you-go, where we had 3 tiers previously, the 100, 500 and 1,000, our basic, what we now call a one-time license, allows again up to 1,500 participants and actually costs less than the old 500 license. So again, getting more for less, which will hopefully benefit all of you. And then there's a further show of confidence in the platform and its scalability. It's something that the product team have been working really hard on. We've now added a 5,000 participant option to that one-time license. So, if you've got a hugely large meeting, you don't need to, engage with us too heavily if you want to just run that session. So, again, hopefully a really simplified model and gives all our customers great reasons to use Meetoo and hopefully use it more. That's what we're really keen. Certainly, one thing that I want to do is to see people using it and using it regularly. Okay, so I'd like to hand over to Dave now to demo the feature element of this.
And I think, and all of that is on the website.
Absolutely. Thank
you, Dermott. So Dermott already mentioned that this was a recent feature. In the last webinar, we demonstrated how to highlight favourite messages. So it comes from that. And we also in the last webinar showed you how to launch our new and improved projector. So it links to that previous release, building on that feature, but it really increases the flexibility of the system. And if you're a lecturer, moderator, and such, just really enhances your capabilities. So without any further ado, I will just switch over to my dashboard. Don't worry, this is actually last month's webinar. So I've just got some messages that I can demonstrate here, and just to remind, what we introduced last time was this ability to highlight favourite messages. So I'll launch the projector. That opens up in the new tab, and it's really simple. It's one of the things I love about this release. It's a new setting that we've added there, show only favourites. So I'll tick that. Project. Now, what I think just works best to demonstrate here is if I just pull that tab out, and I'll just put my projector display on the left, and I've got my dashboard here. Projector on the right, my dashboard on the left. So I've launched that projector to show only favourites, and really simply, as I go down and favourite some messages, they appear in the projector. So lovely and simple. They appear in the order at which they were sent. That timestamp on the message. That is set in stone. So if I were to select a sort of message in between as a favourite, you can see that it just adds in. But yeah, really, really simple, really effective. And we've already had people sort of contact us with a number of different ways that they're using this. That's all there is to it. And
really simple,
but just a great addition on those features from the last release. Before I just mention this, I think just a reminder for any latecomers, anyone who's just joined us, we're using Meetoo. So if you're wondering sort of about any discussion or polls, use that web link in the bottom. I'd like to welcome one of our regulars, Adam, and great feedback. Keep it coming. It's there for the Q&A, and for everyone else, jot down your thoughts on the board. So just very briefly, we're always working to improve it, but we've kind of tweaked the user interface, the UX, the user experience in the app, just made it look a little prettier, a little simpler, a few little pieces that just make that experience, especially around polling, just better for the participant. Again, you mentioned it, but as always, the guys are working under the bonnet and, fine-tuning, making fixes here and there. We're not going to detail them, they're just always working to fine-tune and iron out any creases. And then the last one from me, I think, a little bit of selfless promotion here, but, we have a new YouTube channel, relatively new. So I think Dermott will be sending out a link to that in the discussion board, just to make sure you've got the right channel. But it's where we keep all our videos about Meetoo, tutorial videos, how-to videos. All of our webinars that we host, we share publicly on our channel. So they'll be there, a recording of this webinar will be there later on today or tomorrow. But really, guys, the best thing that we can tell you to do is subscribe to the channel. You'll get you don't get loads of emails, you just get a tiny little notification whenever we add a new resource. So it's just the best way to stay up to date with these.
And I think there's something we're going to do a lot more of, isn't it, Dave? Is releasing some short, sharp tips videos.
Absolutely, yeah. More hints and tips, and we'll come back to that a little later on hints and tips. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. We're always working to add some great resources on there. And I think that's it from me.
Brilliant, thanks, Dave. So, on to what's coming soon. Okay, so we've discussed some of these features on previous sessions, but just to let you know that our open text poll and our sort by likes, they're both slated for release within the next month or two, all being well. So that's something really exciting from our point of view. So please do watch out for this session again coming up, when we can get Dave to show you exactly how all that stuff works.
Really exciting features, and a lot of people really excited about those.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to move on to a little bit about these sessions that we introduced the last time around, where we want your feedback on how you use Meetoo and where you think Meetoo should go forward. So something I want to ask about is the native and the web app, so the platforms that Meetoo is available on. And we just want to ask you a couple of polls really around this as part of our research, and something that the product team take away and mull over when they're developing all their new features. So Dave, if we could just get to the first poll, we'll get it open straight away. So do you generally provide instructions for your participants to access the web app, access the native apps, or access both the web app and native apps?
And I mean, just as those responses come in, if these polls sort of jog any thoughts or make you think of any comments or feedback, as soon as we've finished these polls, get that down on the board. If there's something that makes you kind of think from these.
Yeah, and we talk to a lot of our customers all the time, but actually getting this feedback to see, what your behaviours are when you're using the product, and of course what your participants do. There could be a preference depending on your use case.
And you may not even know the different. You may not even know what a native or web app is. So
sure.
Again, it's good for us to hear.
Right. Okay, so nobody ever just promotes the native app. That's interesting to know. But the web app coming out quite strongly there. Okay, that's really interesting. We move on to the next question there, Dave, please. Okay, so this one is a multiple choice, so please select 3 from this list and then don't forget to press send. But if you could choose the 3 most important factors or features for when choosing to either try if you're not a current user or to buy Meetoo. So is it a PowerPoint add-in, having a native app as well as a web app? Is it the price, ease of use, reliability, the support resources, the ability to contribute to our development roadmap, like in these sessions? Is it the branding or theming element of the app? Or is it the control and moderation of messages through the dashboard? So please choose your 3 most important ones. Or if you've only got one important one, just choose that. But it's up to 3 and then press send to submit. Okay, looks like we've got about the right amount of votes for how many people have been responding, Dave. And we shall see those results. Okay, brilliant. Yes, the PowerPoint add-in and ease of use. Certainly some things that we're really pleased about. As I mentioned already, the ease of use, we tried to keep Meetoo in that sphere. But the PowerPoint add-in, as we know, is something that people really love. Okay, that's great. That's something for the team to mull over. And then another question, would Meetoo still be an option for you or your customers if you're in a workplace environment if it was only available as a web app? So, yep, I think that speaks for itself. Just a quick yes or no. And this is just to get us an idea of what you think and how you're using Meetoo. So, okay, Dave, we just take that there. And okay, that's brilliant. That's great to know that actually, it's not the platform that necessarily drives it, but it's about the features and a lot of the benefits of Meetoo. Okay, that's great. Thank you. And now a bit of an open session here. So we'd like to use the messaging, and we did a bit of an exercise last time where, you can just let us know what you think should be happening with Meetoo going forwards. We've probably got the product team listening in today, but we provide them with all the reports of these sessions, and even from the session that we did last month, the team are already scoping out some of the great ideas that came up from a lot of the people involved. So please do feel free to send some things through. Now we won't spend too much time actually going through these. because they're more for us to take away.
Yeah, and I know I've got a couple of slides coming up, so we can kind of leave the board, and I say hopefully those polls might sort of encourage any thoughts around native apps or web apps. And I say the sort of feedback like Adam's giving, if it doesn't always have to be about the next feature, but is there a reason why you don't use a feature? Is there a reason that prevents you from using something? But like I say, just while people are kind of thinking about that and adding to the board, a very brief update on webinars. The last time we ran this session, we asked you which of the following 3 webinars would interest you the most. We had a clear few favourites. So it was just to update you now that we are in the process of planning and forming our next regular recurring webinar, which will be hints, tips and best practices. Yep. So, again, and if you can think of anything that you'd like to add on the board around that, then please do. So just a little update, guys, watch this space. We'll be in touch, to add to our jump starter, to add to these regular What's New webinars. We're going to be running a session with, best practices for using Meetoo. And
that's not just us presenting. Again, we want, regular users to come on and provide their hints and tips. And again, all these forums are open for everybody to join and share your ideas. And I'd just like to look at a couple of these things. It's great that Adam and Dan have been popping some ideas in here in terms of future development, so that's really good to see. And Adam's actually made a really good point here about the need to swap back and forth between the projector and dashboard. And that's you particularly use a case where you've got mirrored displays. That's absolutely something that we should be looking at in terms of making that a lot easier to use. I know some people, and I'm sure you've tried this, Adam, is to have a hyperlink on a PowerPoint slide that you can just click on and it will launch the browser there and then. That could be something that's
and this is exactly the sort of content that we hope to deliver in our hints tips. That projector that you saw me launch, you can share that URL, you can email it to somebody else, you can open it on another device. So it could be that you have an iPad sat next to your laptop and have your messages seen that way. Lots of options.
There's a good one coming from Dan here. So an option for animated bars on charts building as the results come in. So dynamic update of bars. A lot of people do request that, and I know that is something that we're looking at.
And I assume, Dan, we're talking about the projector display there.
I guess it means on any platform potentially, but Dan, please feel free to clarify if that's from a projector point of view,
or in the app, or in the PowerPoint slide. Yeah.
And thanks, Dave has asked Adam to clarify what MOOC is, so thanks very much for that. So 2 devices is our current solution, but not all of our tutors have an iPad or similar. Okay. That's really good.
A great comment there from Adam about the web app being, so good.
Yeah, and that's really good to hear. We're really proud of our web app.
It is very, very good. I mean, there's so many other products out there, where you've got a web app and native, and you're limited with the web app. But there's absolutely no limitations or differences from a participant point of view or from an organiser's point of view using the web app. No, it's really, really strong. That's
really good. Okay, I don't think there's too many more questions seem to be coming in for part of this, so I think in order to keep the time as we always like to, don't we, Dave?
Yes. How are we doing for time? No, that's 20 minutes. I mean, we aim for 20. It's a nice simple release this time, so
sure. We'll just ask an evaluation question here. We go for that. We get that open. So, what do you think of this webinar? Was it a waste of your time, somewhere in between, or up to extremely valuable? We really appreciate all this feedback. It is, it's crucial to us in terms of improving these sessions and taking it forward, and to make sure that they're worthwhile to all of you.
And you can share them, as we said. The recording will be on YouTube shortly. These webinars you can share with your colleagues, and they're regular. So get people on board.
Yep. Okay, we close that off, Dave. Hopefully we're sparing our blushes as we always try to.
Kept that one to ourselves.
That's brilliant. And then just moving on, just another bit of an open session. If there's anything else you think that we could do to improve these sessions, please fire them into the Q&A chat board there for us, and we'll certainly take them on board. We want to make these sessions as valuable to you as possible, and make them as interesting as possible.
And as we always, sorry to interrupt that, but as we always do, we'll leave this Meetoo meeting running for a while. So, even if in the next 5-10 minutes you think of something, just grab your phone or your tablet and add that comment, and we will get back to you, answer any more questions, and take things on board.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us, and we shall see you on the next one.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks.